What's up everyone, Michael here with another topic video. Today we're going to talk about how Resident Evil 7 has been announced to have cross-platform saves between Xbox One and PC. Now, there's some limitations to this, obviously, that we'll talk about, but I found out that this is apparently part of the Xbox Play Anywhere system, which is actually kind of interesting because the game in the background that I'm playing because of this is ReCore, which is also an Xbox Play Anywhere title that also has the kind of cross-platform saves. I didn't know about this because, quite frankly, I don't have an Xbox One, so, yeah, but it's an interesting topic nonetheless. Now, for ReCore, if anybody's interested, because it's kind of one of those games that a lot of reviewers didn't like, I enjoy it. It's kind of like an average game, and it's a nice little collect-a-thon game. It kind of feels retro in a lot of ways, so I'm enjoying it quite a bit, but a lot of people do not share my opinions. But regardless, I'm enjoying it, I'm playing it, so deal with it. Anyways, let's get back into the topic. So Resident Evil 7 is going to have cross-platform saves. Now, in most cases, this isn't going to be a big deal for a lot of people. They might question, like, oh, why would you care? You know, I'm playing it on here, then why would I need to play it on there? But there are cases to where, you know, the Xbox Play Anywhere system is basically a system, just in case you didn't know, to where if you buy it on Xbox One or PC digitally, then you're able to actually play it on the other platform for free. It basically gives you two versions of the game for the price of one, and this means that you can play it on PC if you don't have access to your Xbox One, and vice versa. Or maybe, let's say, you know, you're somewhere in your living situation and you have family and they want to play it on the Xbox, and your main gaming machine is a PC and you have it in another room. You know, it's got a lot of cool features, so that's why people actually care about the Xbox Play Anywhere system. And it's also kind of cool because we've been asking for separate versions of the game for a long time. There's lots of games that end up getting ported over later on, and it's like, oh, well, I already own this game, why do I have to pay twice for it? So, you know, the Xbox Play Anywhere title system is super cool. But on to the cross-platform saves. Now, for most games, this isn't going to be a big deal, because even within the usage cases that I was talking about, to where, let's say you had family that normally plays on, like, the Xbox, but, you know, you play on a PC, your saves are generally going to be separate. However, Resident Evil 7 is going to be one of those cases to where it might actually have more than a fundamental use case. You know, it won't be like, oh, my sister's in my room and wants to play this game on the PC because somebody else is playing on the Xbox or something like that. It's actually going to have VR support. Now, this is super interesting because, you know, I obviously don't know much about the VR. I know they're spouting that there will be a VR version, and I don't know if it's actually going to be another version of the game. It might just end up being another version. This is completely irrelevant. But it might actually have, you know, a system to where you could cross your saves between the VR version and the normal version of the game. So depending on how you just feel like playing the game at the moment, you could actually play it on different platforms and kind of cross your saves. So, you know, console VR is not going to be particularly great. I know a lot of people like the PlayStation VR right now, but a lot of people are also saying that it's not the best. You know, obviously, Oculus Rift and what was the other one called? Vive is obviously a lot better. And so let's say you have an Oculus Rift and you want to play it, then you probably play it in VR to get that experience. But let's say, you know, you're on your Xbox, VR experience isn't going to be that great, but you still want to play Resident Evil 7, then you could play it in non-VR. You know, and you could also use that as kind of the way that you play the game just in that sort of scenario, which is kind of an interesting deal. Now, there are a few people kind of naysaying this that I saw in the comments of a few articles that I saw about this, because I originally saw it on Twitter. Somebody was commenting saying that it was kind of a useless feature. And I'm not going to out them because I've already said why it's not a useless feature, but I think that's kind of asinine to kind of say that, because I think cross-platform saves are something that we've needed for a very long time. Now, there's tons of games to where, you know, I'll own it on multiple platforms, and it would be nice to be able to kind of carry over those saves. One game that I particularly can use as an example that would never have cross-platform saves is Disgaea. I have a review of Disgaea PC if you're interested, but it is a game that I actually love quite a lot, and I've owned multiple versions of the game, and it's kind of annoying to have to start your progress over and over again. Now, if we end up getting into a future to where systems can just kind of cross-platform saves, that would be super useful, because let's say, you know, in the future they release a PC version of a game that I have on console, and it'll be like, oh, you know what, I just want to bring over my save and just remember the memories and not have to do all this progress over and over again. You know, that's kind of something that we've needed for a long time. So this Play Anywhere system, allowing for that to happen, is kind of cool, and being able to cross these saves is even better. Now, this is also a feature that means that the saves are going to be cross-platform, but they're also going to be cloud synced, which means that if you lose your console or something like that, you're still going to have your save. You know, and you could even buy a version of the game and then have your save carry over to PC when you end up deciding to, like, buy the game again or something like that. Let's say you end up selling your Xbox copy, later realize you want to play the VR version, and then you just have the save already. And boom, there you go, because it'll connect to the cloud and everything. Now, there are limitations to this as well. Another reason why people are saying it's kind of a useless feature is because you have to have the game through the Windows Store. Now, here's the problem with that. If you have the Xbox One version, you automatically have it on the Windows Store. So I feel like that argument is kind of like irrelevant because you're going to already own the game anyways and you don't have to buy it twice, which I think a lot of people are overlooking. That said, though, if you don't like the Windows Store, which is completely understandable, I mean, there's tons of problems with it. You'll probably notice that this video has a few artifacts in its capture and stuff like that, and it might even be stuttering. I think I fixed that problem, so it shouldn't be stuttering, but it might be. If it is stuttering, I apologize for that. But yeah, I tried to fix it. But the Windows Store has tons of problems, especially with the games that are on it. Like even Gears of War 4, which is probably the best game on the platform at the moment, it has a ton of technical problems that nobody's been able to really fix. So, you know, there is that thing. So if you want to have it on like Steam and stuff like that, you won't be able to cross-platform your save, which kind of sucks. I do wish they would have it so that it was like one of those things to where you could be like, oh, just put it on a flash drive and copy it over to your Steam version or something like that. Which, you know, could actually end up being possible in the future. You know, maybe people will end up finding out where the save is in the Windows version and then just kind of copy it over to their Steam version. If you really want to buy the game twice, there you go. But regardless, I think this is a cool feature. I didn't know this was actually a feature of the Play Anywhere titles. I didn't know that ReCore was included in that, so if I ever have an Xbox One, I could play ReCore on it, because technically this game is not the best PC version. It's not bad by any means, but it's definitely not something where I'm like, I have to play it on PC. Obviously, I like my resolution, I like my frame rates, I like my low loading times. And that's something that console doesn't really do particularly well, but in the relevance to this kind of, you know, talking point, it's not kind of relevant either, because being able to have both versions of the game is pretty great. So yeah, cross-platform saves, they're pretty awesome. What do you guys think? Do you think that cross-platform saves are kind of nice? I know this won't happen for everybody because some games just are not going to have that. I know that there's games that have multiple versions of themselves where it's like, let's say the PS4 version. I know that PS4 has different file formats. And so just copying them over isn't going to be something that's going to work. Maybe Microsoft is taking in their extra accounts and they're actually holding two versions of your save file. Maybe it's a requirement to be a Play Anywhere title that you have to have cross-platform saves. You know, maybe it's because it's running on the DirectX, because, you know, if it runs on DirectX, maybe there's some type of hook that they're using that automatically saves two versions of the file. Or maybe they're both compatible because they use the same type of hooks. And, you know, maybe they'll be able to use this for all their Play Anywhere titles. I have a feeling that they probably won't. There's going to be one or two titles that comes out to where, you know, they're not going to be able to keep it up forever. But I really hope that every game ends up having this in the future, because the more we're able to merge the consoles and PC market together, the better everyone off is going to be. Because basically, the console is kind of dying for the core gamer market, but at the same time, there's still a market for consoles in general. And so for the people that don't have them, it's kind of nice to have that kind of versatility for people who want to have both. Now, obviously, I think exclusives should die, but that's a topic for another video. So yeah, it won't be happening for every game. I hope that we see it for non-Xbox Play Anywhere titles. I would love to see some like PlayStation games get it as well. Like let's say, I don't know, the Neptunia games are games that I've been playing recently. So let's say Neptunia, you know, being able to have cross-platform saves for that would be quite awesome. You know, when they come out with those games, they always release it on console first because that's where their primary market is. And then let's say, you know, they release a PC version later. It would be nice to carry over my game and play the new version on New Game Plus or something like that. You know, that would be an awesome thing. That would be really super awesome, and I think would actually be a huge selling point to buy the game twice. Regardless, that's been me for this topic. There's not really much to say about it other than it's kind of awesome, and I think that it's something that we need to see a lot more of. If we see some PlayStation titles get it, I think that would be great. It kind of sucks that this is just an Xbox Play Anywhere title system, but at the same time, if you own one version, you have the other one, so there's really no complaints to be had there. So, you know, why would you buy a game twice when the version that you have is already standard, I guess? Maybe the Xbox version or the Windows Store version will be sucky or something like that, or maybe it won't have mod support, and maybe that'll become something in the future. So maybe we'll see problems with it in the future, but at the moment, I don't see any problems with it. But regardless, this has been Michael with another topic video talking about how Windows 7. I was about to wait some Windows 7. I should not be recording today. I can't even straighten my words. So, yeah, that wasn't even a phrase I should have used. I'm done. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. We're talking about how Resident Evil 7 is going to have cross-platform saves, and apparently I was ignorant to the fact that that was a Play Anywhere title system. I should have done a video on that a long time ago. But regardless, this has been me with this topic. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this one. Hopefully my brain is in a better position for my other videos, because I'm a little bit scatterbrained right now. Not having the best of days, but regardless, that's stuff for the other videos. Also, if you want to make sure to check out my reviews and things like that, I recently did a review for my very first mobile exclusive game called Monster Super League that was actually pretty good. So if you're looking for a good mobile game, I might have mobile reviews coming up, but most of the time I review games that are on PC. ReCore is one of my games on my review list. It's probably going to take a while to actually get done, because this is a game that I just kind of play to relax sometimes. I'm enjoying it now. Obviously, most of the time I'm just sitting here combating, but most of it is actually platform adventure stuff. I just wanted some interesting gameplay in the background to watch, because watching somebody jump from platform to platform isn't necessarily the most entertaining thing to watch, so yeah, I've just been kind of doing this. But regardless, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. And hopefully Resident Evil 7 is good.